Yvonne again, and thank you or welcome back to my channel. I have something that I want to talk about today with you guys, something I want to share with you guys. I was sitting here getting ready to work on, excuse me, by the way, today is December the 16th. It's Monday, December the 16th, and it is a work day. Sort of kind of like a work day. Normally on Mondays, I do a lot of admin stuff, and I've been doing admin stuff this morning. It is roughly, I think, it's 2:41 p.m. 2:41 p.m. on Monday, December the 16th. And all morning I've been doing admin stuff. I did some billing this morning, and I did just some going through some business emails and stuff of that nature. And I was getting ready to work on something for the church. I was getting ready to work on our church's bylaws. We have a church conference coming up on Saturday, this Saturday coming up, and our shepherd, the pastor, asked us to go over the bylaws to see if anything needs to be amended or changed. Of course, you know I am an attorney, so I am doing probably more reviewing of these bylaws than any of the other members, that is. But I was getting ready to work on this, and I kind of thought about something that I have been something that I have been talking to God about since earlier in the year, which was August the 20th to be exact. That was when I rejoined my home church. I had been gone away from my home church for a couple of years, and when I had to make the move back home this year, earlier 2024, I rejoined my church in August of this year. And so when I did that, I was, you know, when you join a church, it's always good to get in community and start working in the church, start serving in the church. And once I rejoined the church, I was asked to start serving, and I was more than happy to serve. I always serve when I possibly can, when time permits. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'm ready to serve, whatever you want me to do. Now I did go in it and having an idea of, and excuse me, I do talk a whole lot with my hands, because I don't know what to do with them sometimes, but I'll try to keep that to the minimum. So I had an idea of what I wanted to help in, what I wanted to serve in. I did have an idea about that, but I was being instructed by the Spirit to not say anything, not to give an opinion, not to express what I wanted to do, and let the Holy Spirit, let the church put me in the position that God wanted me to be in. And this is where the conversation with me and God comes into play, because ironically, the position that I was put in was on the finance committee, right? I was put on the finance committee, and to me that was so hilarious. It was really, really hilarious, because I have never, and by the way, I am 40 years old, sitting here today, 40 years old, and I have never in my whole life had enough money to consider myself to be a financial wizard, a good budgeter, or any of those things. I've struggled to mostly go to school. I was in school for a very long time. I've got 4 degrees. And I just worked to pay for school. And then after my last degree, which obviously was my Juris Doctor degree, I have been struggling ever since, trying to, one, find work, and then 2, establish my firm, build and grow my firm. And now I am not switching over, but engaging in something new with a new identity. So I've never really been in the position to where, like I said, consider myself to be an expert in finances, or to be able to be responsible for someone else's finances, including the church, right? Like, what? It was very surprising to me and very hilarious. So after that was given to me, of course, the pastor asked me to do it. The board of trustees, they all approached me, asked me to do it, and I had no choice but to say, okay, sure, I'll do it. And once I accepted it, and we had a church conference, I think it was maybe like a week or so, maybe 2 weeks after the conversation that I had with the pastor and the board of trustees, where the church the rest of the congregation had to vote me in, because we are a missionary Baptist church. If you are familiar with the Baptist church, then you know there is a process to do that. And so they voted me in, and once I was voted in, it took me a while, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but I got into deep discussion with God about it. I was like, how ironic, like, this is funny to me. You've never provided enough for me to be able to budget and finance and all that stuff. Why am I being put in charge in a significant position in the church? And this is the only position in the church that I've ever held. When I was younger, I did the choir, of course. I also did some praise dancing when I was a teenager. But other than that, I've never had a position in the church. And I consider the position that I'm in now on the finance committee a very high position. And I was honored, but I also, like I said, I was a little bit confused and a little bit, maybe frustrated a little bit, right? Because I'm like, this is way too big for me. Why are you asking me to do this? And this is what I've been gathering. And I did not, and the reason why I'm speaking on it today, because last night, which was Sunday night, I think I got the answer to my question. So from August up until December, that question that I had asked had been lingering out there, and I had been discussing it with him in my journal for months and months and months. And last night, I feel like I received the answer that I was looking for, and I feel like I received it, because now I'm understanding it better, and I feel more at ease in the position. I gathered this information from a sermon that I watched, Moments by T.D. Jakes. I do watch that sometime, because it's a great Bible study when I need Bible study, or when I need a little bit more instruction from the Father. And so I was listening to him last night, and he was talking. It was an old sermon. I think the sermon that he preached was in 2021 going into 2022. And he mentioned that when you are being placed, or when God is placing you in a certain position or a certain area, if you have a vision for a dream, a business, a goal, there's always going to be something in your background to help you understand this is what you're going for, or solidifying that the dream that you receive, the dream that you have, the goal that you're trying to reach is not of you, but of God. He will always give you a little pieces. You can always look through your background to see if it lines up. Remember what I said, I've never had a background in finance before. So when I heard that, I was like, well, I don't think that applies. But beloved, I'm here to say that it kind of does apply, and it applies perfectly. The ultimate, it's not really a dream. It is a vision, and it's a goal that God placed on me in November. I think I mentioned that before, the new identity with Sheena Yvonne, and the ministry, a kingdom ministry, practicing peacemaking. The position lines up with that, because I know that This new identity is going to bring in more revenue than I've ever seen in my entire existence. But the revenue would not be for me. It will be to help the kingdom, to help the church, but specifically my church and possibly other churches. But the main goal is to increase and benefit the kingdom. And because I had never had any background in finance before, this was the time, right? This was the time that God said, now you're ready. You know, now you're ready to have that background, to have that education, to have that experience in dealing with large sums on a consistent basis. So the 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 message that I received from that again was, now is the time. I am putting this in your background so you will know how to manage it better. It's also shown me that the way that I had been managing my funds previously throughout my life was for one goal and one goal only, was to survive, because I was in school, not being able to work as much as I wanted to work, or every little penny that I had was to fund my education and to fund a place to live and to have food to eat. And my instructions on how to spend and how to budget money are different now. They're different. And in order for me to be able to see the difference, I had to be put in this position because I understand a lot more. I understand the proper way to budget. And it's not only to budget for what's the here and now, but you're budgeting for things that you want to do in the future. I would love to give you a little bit more about that, but I would not be able to do that without totally disclosing all of the church's business, which I'm not going to come on here and do. The real reason I'm bringing this discussion today is because I want you to know, beloved, if your dream, if your vision, if your goal is something that God gave you, there is going to be something in your background. It may not be in your background today, but think about tomorrow. It can be in your background. God works at any given time. So it's going to be in your background, and you're going to have the tools that you need to get that thing, to get that vision, to get that goal done, to get that ministry going, to get that business off the ground. You may not have everything you need now, but God is going to give it to you later, if not sooner, right? I kind of feel like I'm going all over the place with this, and I don't mean to be. I don't have any notes here. Like I said, I was just getting ready to start working on this, and I had the feeling, the spirit to tell me, record this, give them this message. Someone needs to hear it, and I also needed to speak it out loud for myself because I was thinking about it, and this is a good way for me to express my gratitude, my gratefulness to the Lord for not only loving me so much to confirm things for me, but to put things in my background to help me along the way. You probably have heard that God will go before you, He will go after you, and He will go with you. I believe, beloved, that when He puts things in your background that will help you with your vision, help you with what He wants you to do later, that is God going before you, and it's going after you. Because once I get to the bigger goal, once the vision is fully in place, fully established, I will be able to look back on August the 20th and say, God put me in the position to be able to deal with the finances that I'm going to be dealing with today. That was Him going behind me. Going in front of me is what he's doing now, putting me in this position to allow me to have the experience that I need for the further me, for the new identity, for Sheena Yvonne coming through. I hope that makes sense to you all, beloved. It makes sense to me, and if it does make sense to you, then this is for you. This message is for you. It may be to remind you of something, or it may be to confirm something to you, or it may be just to give you an eye opener on a question that you have about your dream, about your vision, about whatever God has promised you that you are still trying to reach. Everything that you're going to experience, everything that you're going to struggle with, encounter, including people, are going to be tools and experience that you will be able to look back on later to say, that was God preparing me for what's coming ahead. That it was God preparing me for what's happening right now. I hope this message blessed you. It has blessed me to get it out. I am so grateful. Father, I'm so grateful. I am so, so grateful that you continuously pour out your power and your love on us, on your children, to allow us to walk with you and to walk for the kingdom. Until next time, beloved, be guided by his light.
For the promises you've kept and every need you've met. Lord, I'm so grateful.